Sorry, I had to switch my camera. My neighbors on this side, who I like very much. Actually, I like my neighbors on the other side very much too. Um, the front of my house has these amazing trees, these beautiful oak trees, and my neighbors um, chopped one down. It was very sad. Um, but it's not my tree. It was on their property, so it was their tree. And I had to change my camera because there's so much light coming in through my window now, and especially from the daylight savings that now I had to go back to using a different webcam. So it's like scrambling because it was so washed out. If you saw the video I did the other day about harvesting where you're planting, and we'll talk about that again. But if you saw that video the other day, then you can see it was sort of angelic and very washed out because of all the light that was coming in through the window. So uh, so all right, I've got my equality voter shirt on. So make sure you're voting. Make sure you're voting wherever you are. Please, please, please make sure you're voting. Vote for equality. Vote for the environment. Let's vote for people who are not threatening other people with shotguns and handguns and people who are chasing other people with trucks. That's my feeling about it. All right, so let's keep in mind that Mercury retrograde is also going to end tomorrow, and that even though Mercury retrograde is going to end tomorrow, that is not the end of whatever retrograde craziness that you may be having. As you may have noticed, I was just talking about camera stuff. So that's not going to be the end of Mercury retrograde energy, because in the beginning 2 weeks of a retrograde and the end 2 weeks of a retrograde, we have the joy of feeling extra intense stuff going in and going out of a retrograde. So give yourself patience, give yourself, and I know tomorrow is going to be a tough day, and probably Wednesday too if you live in the United States. And so I want to just tell you, give yourself patience so that you can get through it, because really when the retrograde energy is spiking, and we're still in that full moon window, so we had the full moon on Saturday night, and then it's about 48 hours, so Sunday night, Monday night, so really we're still in the tail end of that full moon energy, where the energy goes up to the moon, full moon, and then comes back down to the new moon. So whatever they're trying to get you to release, the universe is trying to get you to move forward with in this period of time. Please just give yourself a little extra patience and know that it is going to be okay, but that there's going to be a lot of emotion, a lot of energy running high, and that people are having a lot of anxiety, and that tempers are short, especially in the United States with the election. And so I want to really encourage you to remember that until tonight, we're still in the full moon energy, and then even tomorrow with retrograde ending, even though Mercury is going to go direct, we're still going to be feeling that for a few more weeks. And so just really to be patient with yourself. Duma, hi, thanks for joining us. So happy to have you with us. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot to put on my Instagram. Oh my gosh, hang on. So Duma, we're going to do as we normally do. I'm so sorry your life is a mess. But I'm going to put on the camera really quick to get to the Instagram. I totally forgot. Look at me. See, Mercury retrograde. I mean, I'm telling you what. So, but Duma, what we're going to do is what we normally do, always do with our time together on Mondays, is we're going to spend some time with some channeled information, and then we're going to have where am I on Facebook, on Instagram, and then once we have channeled information, then we will have questions and answers, and we'll do our readings at that point. So hang out with us a little bit longer. Okay, so Sherry, you can remember how to do this. There it is. That's not it. Okay, hang on. There it is. Okay. Sorry about that. So, like I say, Mercury retrograde, right? Sorry, Instagram. I got all started on Facebook and forgot to connect to Instagram. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so what was it? What were we saying? We are coming to the end of Mercury retrograde, so that's going to be tomorrow, but still the last 2 weeks of a retrograde and the first 2 weeks of a retrograde, we're still going to be able to feel that energy. And then also we're coming into the time, we're still in that full moon portal. We're still a little bit in that full moon portal. So we had the full moon here on the Saturday night for Halloween, and then that'll last us Sunday night and into Monday night. So tomorrow we'll be out of the full moon energy. Tomorrow we'll be technically out of the retrograde energy as Mercury goes direct. However, we'll still have about 2 more weeks of Mercury craziness. And so I apologize to Facebook for being late, and I forgot to turn you all on. So my apologies. I want to, again, just remind you about patience and remind you about just breathing. I think it is so incredibly important to breathe, and know that we are here on Wednesday night to have our meditation, and I know we're going to need it. No matter who wins, we're going to need it. Now, here's what I know about the election in this country, that no matter who wins, there is going to be riots and protests and people marching in the streets. And so what I want to say to you is, if you live in this country, first of all, please vote. For my personal preference, and I know I don't have the right to tell anybody else how to vote, although I will share my opinions with you if I'm asked. I am wearing my Florida Equality Voter shirt. I will tell you to please vote for protecting the environment, for protecting equal rights, for protecting the right to vote, and not the people who are in court trying to take away the right to vote every cotton picking day, and the people who are chasing down buses with trucks to try and stop candidates and speakers from getting to rallies. I am just absolutely appalled by what I see going on in our country right now, and it just breaks my heart that this is what we've come to, that trucks are chasing candidates through the streets with waving guns at them to prohibit them from getting to their speaking engagements. And I just think that is absolutely appalling. And so for my money, voting for the opposite of all of that crap, because love is the way that we move our society forward: compassion, tolerance, engagement, and not waving guns at each other. So for me, that's where I'm voted. I don't think you have to guess my personal opinions and who to, where my, affiliations lie, if you follow me at all, especially if you watch my personal Facebook page. But I want to say to you, wherever you are, vote. But no matter what happens, we're going to have unrest. There is no way around it. If Biden wins in a landslide, there will be unrest. If Biden wins and it's close, or Trump wins and it's close, there will be unrest. If Trump wins and it's not a landslide, there will be unrest. And so what I want to tell you is patience. I want to tell you calm. I want to tell you to stay inside and not take to the streets unless you are with other people, to not, if you're going to participate in marches, good on you, but please be safe. Please be safe. Wear a mask, go with a group, social distance, and if people start to get belligerent or rowdy or with weapons, please call the police. Please keep yourself safe, because I just don't see in any of the information, whether it's coming from above or it's coming from the news, I just do not see a path past tomorrow that is not going to include violence. And that is heartbreaking. And so I want to say, because there have been comparisons made to 1945 Europe and Germany and the rise of the Nazis and the brown shirts, since Trump got elected in this country. And I want to say that that was a period of humongous growth for humanity, and we learned a whole lot about compassion, and we learned a whole lot about anger and violence and hate and what hate is capable of. And as a society, humans have a very short memory. And so every cycle, we're going to need to be reminded of this. And the things that came out of World War II, although it was absolutely horrific, there were blessings that came out of that period in our world history. And it's important that we understand that there were things that were good that came from that. The state of Israel, human rights, a lot of different things that had come from that. NATO, and a lot of different things that come. So for all the negative that is going on, and for all the negative that may still go on, that will still go on, because even if there's even when we get past this and things calm down, there will always be racism, there will always be hate, there will always be negativity. You have to have the dark in order to appreciate the light. And even if all people wake up to love and the power of love in the universe, there will still be that one guy, that one person that will hold on to the anger and the hostility and the frustration and the power, the desire for power. Because what drives all of this is the hunger for power. Okay, it is the desire to hold on to power. It is the desire to gain more power, the desire to hold on to power, the desire to hold on to the status quo, and to hold on to control. And this is what drives all of it, and the fear of change. And so it's really important that we understand that even if everybody wakes up and it's sunshine and roses and lollipops and unicorns, there's still going to be that one schmo who doesn't get it. Okay. And he's going to be the guy waving the flag and waving the Confederate flag, screaming about how, everybody who's brown or different is the cause of all of our problems. And so it's so important that we are raising our voices with love, that we are the ones that we are holding on to each other, treating each other with love, with respect. So I had somebody, I've been phone banking. I've been, trying to do everything that I can to get Biden elected, and had the opportunity to speak to a woman in Georgia who, told me she was not voting for that man. And I said, that's okay, that's totally fine. And when we started to talk about it, she starts yelling at me, and my whole body was just filled with love and compassion to just treat her with love, because what I feel is coming from the other side, and we can see it with the flags and the trucks and the anger and the guns and the whole thing, is hate and anger and bullying and oppression. And so when we can come from a place of compassion and love, we can make a difference. Now I'm sure I didn't change her vote, and that's fine, because your vote is yours. So, vote for who you need to vote for. But what I wanted her to get off the phone with me with was, she may not have agreed with me, but I was not rude. I was not aggressive. And she was being very aggressive with me. And so love has so much power in it. And if you saw some of the posts, I've been really enjoying sharing some of the posts with you on my Facebook page. If you're on Instagram, you may be missing this. But this is a book called Chasing the Bright Side. It's by a woman named Jess Ekstrom. She started a company called Headbands for Hope. And I really just think that what she's doing is really fantastic, because they sell these cute headbands. And for every headband that they sell, they donate one to a kid with cancer. And they've donated headbands to kids, to hospitals, to every hospital in the country and in several other countries. And so she's written this book. It's kind of her story. And I love her optimism, because that's really her position, is that she comes from this place of optimism. And I really appreciate that, because we have all these people right now out in our society that are telling us, especially on one side, they're telling us how horrible everything is and who's to blame for it. And then on the other side, they got their ourselves telling us how horrible it is and who's to blame for it. And so I feel like it's really important to talk about this. And one of the things that she talks about is that we can't see the blessings in our lives if we're still wearing the blinders of, I can't, I don't want to see the bad stuff, so therefore I'm not going to let myself see anything. And so I think that's a really important distinction that we make, is we have to allow ourselves to, hi Deb, we have to allow ourselves to be willing to see the negative so that we can deal with it. But she also told the story, and I shared it today, about the Starbucks Pay It Forward, where somebody in the Starbucks line, paid for their order and the one for the people behind them, and 130 cars later, it was still going, that people were still paying for the order of the car behind them. I thought that was really miraculous, and it really makes such the difference of the power of one. And so that's really what I wanted to talk about today, was the power of one, because one person can make a difference. And it could be that you talked with one of the people I talked with when I was phone banking, was a very nice guy who had voted once in like 2008 and never voted again. and he didn't even know where to go to vote. And so we looked it up and we find out where he was supposed to go, and based on his address, and he was just delighted to know that he could now vote, because he really wasn't, he didn't have anybody around him who had taught him that voting was so important, or how to do it, or where to do it, and all of that. And so once he realized where he could go, he was all excited to, go in and make his voice count, make his voice heard. And so really, we have so much more ability to affect change than we think with the power of one person. I mean, here's this whole book where she started this company of headbands of hope. They've given away, hundreds of thousands of headbands. This was one woman who was still in college when she started the business. So I want to really encourage you about the power of one. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about that they continue to put into my head is the power of the harvest. And I jumped on here. Like, you're on the right track, my darling. You're on the right track. So one thing they keep putting on my heart is the power of the harvest. Okay, and so we had talked about this. I jumped on Saturday because this was so on my heart, because we've got our fall vegetables there, are in the garden, and of course today it's freezing in Florida. And as soon as we're done here, I'm going to put my sweater on. I'm so happy I got my sweater out of the closet this morning and thought I could wear my sweater, my one sweater. So I have a few, but anyway, so we have our fall vegetable garden is in, and we're all very excited about. Well, I'm very excited about it. We plant the eggplants in the place that we've designated, and lo and behold, we have eggplants that are starting to grow. So we are delighted. So farming is very different from manifesting. So when you farm, and I'm not farming, I'm gardening, but when you garden, you plant the seed and you plant it here, and you expect that that seed is going to grow, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But if it does, you expect that the fruit that's going to come from that plant is going to be the thing you actually planted. So I planted eggplants. I know I'm going to get eggplants. I'm not going to get garbanzo beans or rutabagas or whatever. I'm going to get eggplants. When we manifest, that's not how it works. The universe has the law of compensation, and there are about 10 or 20 laws of the universe. Napoleon Hill was a fabulous teacher and a motivational speaker, and he really taught a lot about the laws of the universe, and he really taught about how you break them down and how you understand them. One of the laws of the universe is the law of compensation. So we get people who talk about how no good deed goes unpunished and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's just a bunch of baloney, because if you know the law of the universe and you understand the law of compensation, then you understand that there is no such thing as putting something out there where it does not come back to you. And so the, no good deed goes unpunished is not a law of the universe. However, all you send out into the lives of others will come back into your own absolutely is a law of the universe. It's part of the law of compensation. And so what happens is, when you plant a seed by helping a person, or donating to a charity, or standing on a corner waving a sign, or paying for the person's Starbucks order in the line behind you, or just being kind and being compassionate and being present in the moment and holding space for a friend and being the lifeboat for someone who might need it. All of those things are planting seeds in your garden. But none of those things are going to be exactly what you harvest where you've planted it. And so when you plant compassion, you're going to get back generosity. You're going to get back other things that may not be exactly the eggplants that you planted. And so it's so important, because I have people who say to me, oh, gee, I feel sorry I wasted your time, or, oh, I, did this or that. Oh, gee. Oh, sorry, Instagram. I'm sorry, Instagram fell over. Sorry, folks. So people say to me, oh, I'm sorry that I wasted your time, or I'm sorry that, this didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen, or I'm sorry for this, that, or the other thing. And there's none of that is a need, because we put that guilt and negativity, and we put those feelings on ourselves, because we have this filter from society that says, if I do something, this is what should happen. And then when we have that mindset, we put these blinders on, and we don't allow the universe to move the cogs. And we've talked so much about the cogs of the universe and the wheels moving. when we put our blinders on that says, if I do A, B will happen. And when we look at it from that perspective, B either can or cannot happen. There leaves no room for any other possibilities. And so when we say, if I do A, then B to Z could happen, opening the door for the universe to move the cogs into something better. So if I do A, then B or something better could happen. And I feel like that is so important that we keep our mind open, and more importantly, we keep our hearts open so that something better could happen. Okay, so when we have this expectation that says, this is the box, that's all there is. It either happens or it doesn't. There's no other possibilities. And when we can put that out to the universe and say, why are we doing that? Why did you pay for the Starbucks order of the person behind you? Did you want some sort of gift? Did you want some sort of acknowledgement or compensation, or did you just want to put something good out into the universe and allow that those blessings would come back to you in some other miraculous way? And I can't even begin to tell you how many times we have put this into practice where we said, I'm going to put this out to the universe. I'm going to ask the universe for help. I'm going to put good thoughts and energy and compassion and love behind it. Hi, Doris. I'm going to put all of that behind it, and I'm going to allow for the universe to move the wheels and move the cogs to create what I've asked for or something better to come from that. And we open up the possibilities. And when we do that, the things that, hi Tracy, honey, when we do that, the things that happen, the things that grow, the things that are allowed to evolve for us are so much more than when we are insistent that the universe plays by our rules and that the universe stays in the box that we have designed from our limited, puny little human understanding of the universe, rather than letting the expanse be the guide. Because I promise you, as smart as we are, they know more than we do. Now, here's the other thing. Having said all of that, if they know more than we do, and they understand how humanity works and how people work and how the brain works and how the heart works, then no matter what happens tomorrow, we will be okay. Okay, it may be 4 crappy more years, and then we get to try again. It may be 2 crappy months, and then we're going to move forward. Okay, whatever happens tomorrow, it is going to be okay, because humanity shifts the pendulums. Okay, and Trump tapped into something that was not just brewing here in this country. He let loose some anger and hatred and frustration that has been brewing and being ignored for years in this country. And at the same time, it's been brewing in other countries, because it wasn't just America that has moved the pendulum to the conservative side. It's been other countries that followed suit, because he opened up that door and he let all that stuff out. And other countries, the people in other countries said, yeah, us too. So there's something here that needed to be unleashed. It needed to be brought to the surface so that everybody else could see it. It's like the one guy that stands up at a performance and starts heckling the performers to say, you stink. And everybody who's enjoying themselves turns around and looks at him and says, I don't know what you're talking about. So this is where we are right now. We're in the moment of looking at those guys saying, I don't know what y'all are doing over there. But it allows us to acknowledge the presence and say, okay, there's a problem. We need to treat this with compassion. We need to treat this with love, even if we don't agree. And we do not need to move to that level and, punch the guy in the nose. But we do want to treat with compassion. But it brings our awareness to the fact that there's something going on with that guy. Okay, and so we need to understand that as a melting pot of the United States and as a melting pot of a planet, we are a planet of such diversity and amazing traditions and cultures and nationalities that if we're ever going to be in harmony, and someday we will, but if we're ever going to be in harmony, we have to come to the place that we are. Boy, Silver, get off my page, right? So that in any, if we're ever going to come to a place of humanity and globalization and world peace, Even if we don't come to globalization, if we just come to world peace, then we're going to have the opportunity. We have to come to that place of treating each other with respect and understanding that there are differences to be embraced, but that we can't squelch and devalue the people who don't agree with us. And that's really where we've come to, especially in our society right now. We've come to this place of, I totally devalue you, I shut you down, I don't even want to hear it, you're not agreeing with me, so you have to, you're dead to me. And that kind of attitude, and I understand that it's come from so much frustration on both sides, but that kind of an attitude is not how we move forward, and it's not how we heal our society. And so in that, we must stay in the place of love and compassion. As Lake says, stay inside. Stay inside. If you're going out, please make sure you're going with friends. You're not going by yourself. Wear a mask, and go in places where you feel like you may need, you may have safety. Okay. But just understand, and to prepare ourselves that whatever's going to happen tomorrow, no matter who wins, it's not going to go smoothly. There's going to be violence, there's going to be protesting, there's going to be anger and frustration no matter what happens tomorrow. And so it's so important that we are protecting ourselves, that we are physically protecting ourselves, but that we're also emotionally protecting ourselves. And when I talk about emotionally protecting ourselves, I'm not talking about don't see it, don't feel it, just ignore it, just ignore those people, they'll go away. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about filling ourselves with love and compassion, because those people are as afraid as both sides. Okay, both sides has fear and frustration and anger, and both sides are afraid of what's going to happen if the other side wins. And so filling ourselves with love and compassion for whatever happens is going to create this bubble of love around us. And I think that is so important, especially for so many who are really struggling right now with the pandemic and with unemployment and with not being able to see their family. My parents come over for Sunday dinner. They go straight through the house. They sit on the patio. They're sitting over there. I can't hug them. I can't hug them. It's very, very frustrating. They can't hug their grandchildren. I can't, we are known in our house for just lots of gatherings, people coming over, lots of big family dinners, lots of, people are always here, and people have not been here. And it's terrible. But when we fill ourselves with love and compassion, and we radiate that, and we talked last week about filling ourselves with love and compassion, which raises our vibration so that we are not attracting low vibration things like negativity and lack and unemployment and sickness. Sickness manifests itself in our bodies when we hold on to anger and frustration and negative emotions. When we hold on to love and we vibrate at that level of love or above that we talked about last week, when you vibrate at that level, negative things, it's not like bad things aren't going to happen, but it's so much more of a speed bump than a Mack truck. And it makes a humongous difference, not only in how we are able to process, but in how we're able to deal with these things, and how we can move ourselves past the speed bump rather than feeling like we've been hit by a Mack truck. So whatever is happening, understand that those people on the other side, they feel the same anger and frustration and fear that you may be feeling, whichever side you're on. And so we want to hold them in compassion. We want to hold them in love. We want to vibrate at love, because it truly does create this bubble of light and protection around us and keeps us safe from so much drama and stuff that it's amazing, because people can't even see us. They can't even hear us. When we go up to the river and to the springs to watch the manatees, and then we're coming to the last 2 weeks of a very long season of protecting the manatees. But the last few weekends that we've been up there, as we're leaving the park and we're coming back onto the main road, we've seen several little parades of these trucks with all the flags. And I kind of look, as we drive by them, I look into their, the driver's, things. And when you're driving, you kind of look around, right? Not a one person looked at me from, and there's nothing on my car, well, on my husband's car, that says who we are, what our affiliations would be. My car, you could tell. But not a, even like I looked, and not a one person looked at me. And I just thought, isn't that so remarkable? Because they literally cannot even see me because I'm vibrating at such a different level. And so again, I say, no matter what happens, stay in that vibration of love and compassion, because no matter what happens tomorrow, there's going to be people who are going to be elated and people who are going to be crushed. And so wherever you may land, just know that society is learning some very valuable lessons right now, and that we are evolving, and it's like humanity is going through puberty, and it is not an easy thing. It's not. It's full of hormones and passion and anger and frustration and bratty teenagers and just all kinds of stuff. I remember when my boys went through it, I was like 12 years old, and my father looked at me and says, I can't wait till he's like 16, 17. He'll come back to the human race. And sure enough, my kids are awesome. But if you've raised a teenager, the period of puberty, it's like a nightmare. You want to kill them because they're just irrational and short-tempered and ill-mannered and all kinds of stuff. So as you are holding space for humanity at large, and especially the humans of the United States tomorrow, just remember, we're going through some very serious growing pains, and that in the end, it will be okay. It probably won't be okay tomorrow. It may not be okay on Wednesday, but in the end, it will be okay. All right, so thank you for sharing that. Hi, Robin. Thank you so much for sharing that. So if you click on the post for Linktree, as Robin has posted for me, thank you, thank you, thank you. Linktree has all of my links, and actually I'm going to add one more there to, later today. I just haven't had a chance to do it, to add. My blog is hosted on my webpage, SherryDworkin-Smith.com, but my blog is also hosted on WordPress. So I'm going to put the WordPress link in there too. If don't care about my webpage, but you just want to read the blog, you can do that on WordPress. So I'm going to do that. And so let's pull some cards. Let's see what we're talking about today. I really like to let them speak to you through me before we start to pull cards, so that we can have an idea of what they're thinking, because I find it absolutely fascinating that whatever the cards are, they absolutely line up with what they are sharing. So we want to grab so this is our Spirit of Gratitude card, is for our energies. This is Colette Baron Reed's Oracle of the Seven Energies. So it kind of aligns with the chakras, the seven energy centers. And so this is card 43, Spirit of Gratitude. And what a gorgeous lotus flower this is. Let's see if we can get some more information about this. So this is, we connect directly to our higher power. It's a way for us to be in communion with the divine, and a reminder that our lives are sacred, and that they are a sacred conversation we are always engaged in. So I think this is really fantastic, because it again reminds us that we are so much more than this one human life that we are living right now. Okay, we are so much more than this one human life we are living right now. We have so many things that we are learning as souls. We have so many things that we are experiencing, or that we are yet to experience in our time here as humans on this planet, and in this one incarnation, that will let us learn things that we can then take into more lifetimes as the soul continues to evolve. So I love that this card, staying in the spirit of gratitude, because isn't that what we were just talking about staying in the place of love and compassion, and gratitude is of course a big part of that. So as we are continuing to evolve as humans, we want to stay in that spirit of gratitude for whatever happens. Okay, so then we have in our oracle cards, we have the goddess of Saraswati. She is mastery, Saraswati. So I'm going to grab the book. Oh my goodness. I'm going to grab the book for this, because this is the goddess power, and I want to make sure that I'm sharing the right information for this. This is something I definitely can't just channel. So Saraswati, she is the goddess of, she's a Hindu goddess. She asks you to enter her domain of art, language, knowledge, music, and poetry, and make this commitment to go the distance. Immerse yourself, body and mind, in the spirit of discovering all aspects of what is at hand. All aspects of what is at hand. Learn and then learn more. If you adopt the role of apprentice and you're willing to devote your heart and mind to something, you will become a true master. Deep wisdom knows only continuous learning. No matter what the question you have come to explore, Saraswati reminds you that the pursuit of mastery is never ending, so enjoy every minute of it. I love this because this is so much about enjoying the journey and understanding that even when there is negatives going on, it's still part of our journey. It's still an important part of our journey of what humanity is learning. Okay, so let's grab our oracle cards and see what's going on. And this is Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle card. I absolutely love this deck. It is truly one of my favorites. All right, let's see. I did want to mention also that we still have a few other planets in retrograde even after Mercury goes direct tomorrow. So let me give you that information super quick. Mars is going to be in retrograde until the end of the year, and Neptune also is going to retrograde until just after Thanksgiving. So we've got some big, powerful planets that are in retrograde because Mars is a little bit of the masculine energy, a bully in the energy, and Mars can have a lot of effect on our assertiveness, and that can also be part of why we're seeing such a rise in this machismo that we see going on right now. So we're just going to be patient and we're going to be compassionate. So we have our first card. It says you are already doing it, and I love this because this is a reminder, because if you were not a person who believed in the power of love and compassion and the power of the light and the power of the order of the universe, and that the universe has our back, you wouldn't be here watching me talk to you right now. So I know that you already have this knowledge already, that you're already doing it. So as you are continuing to protect yourself and to share love with others and those around you, please allow yourself a little pat on the back, a little props to know that you're doing the right things, you're on the right track, and also that you are having that vibration, that you're holding that love vibration, and that is going out into others. Because if you look at the card, you can see how this is going out into the wilderness and sharing the light all the way over there. We're receiving the light and we're sharing the light back. So there's just so much good stuff here. The second card is the word no. The second card is the word no. So whatever the question is that you are asking yourself, should I do this or should I do that? Understand that the answer is no. And so what I want to say to you right now is, where you are, hold steady. Where you are right now, hold steady. So in the next 2 weeks, next week is not going to be a time for you to oh no electricity still, oh my goodness. Robin, we're sending you lots of electric energy and love and light and lots of vibes to hopefully keep your selves warm. Oh my goodness, keep yourselves warm and safe and by the fire, and staying safe as you move through this challenging time of not having electricity. We have been there. So right now the answer is no. So as you are moving through this time, if there are big changes that you are contemplating that are not having to do with the election, right now hold steady where you are, and send Robin some, healing vibes for her electrical grid in upstate New York. But hold steady where you are and know that right now you are on the right track. But don't make any sudden moves, okay? Don't make any sudden changes. Allow things to continue to develop. We definitely don't want to make any big changes at the tail end of Mercury retrograde, so that's really going to be 2 more weeks. So even though Mercury goes direct tomorrow, we can still be in the pocket of that energy for 2 more weeks. So just sit tight for another 2 more weeks. Generator's running, yay, okay, good. That way you're not freezing to death, I don't have to worry. Okay, and lean into your soul family. Lean into your soul family. We've been talking about this card. It's been coming up a lot. Lean into your soul family. Take comfort in the people that are around you that can help lift you through the drama. If you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling stressed out, if you're feeling all the effects and you're feeling all the feels, please reach out to those people that can help you. Reach out to the soul family. Make sure that you are connecting with your friends, with family, if that's a helpful place for you. Reach out to folks who are like-minded and let them know. This was my whole blog post that I put the other day, was about being a life raft. Be the life raft for someone else. And if you yourself need a life raft, ask for it. Raise your hand and say, I need help. It is not weakness to ask for help. These are trying times. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. This is a crazy ass time to be alive. So if you need help and you need love and support from something other than the angels and the guides, and you need something tangible that you can physically, connect with a human, ask for it. It is hugely courageous to say, I can't do this myself. I need some help. It is not a mark of weakness at all. So please make sure that if you need a life raft, you are asking for one, and that if you can be the life raft for someone else, do it. Because right now, people are struggling. Maybe not you today, maybe you tomorrow, maybe not you tomorrow, hopefully not you tomorrow. But if you can be the life raft for somebody else, please do it. Because I will tell you, and I will say it until with my dying breath, the person that was the life raft for me saved my life, created an opportunity for me to choose to live and to choose to save my own life. So be the life raft for somebody else. It is so incredibly important, especially in this current time in our history where we're finally starting to understand the importance of mental health, of the services, of the counseling, of the availability and the accessibility of mental health services. We're still not there yet, but we're starting to wake up to that a little bit. So if you can be a life raft to somebody else, please do so. Check in on your friends, especially tomorrow. And if you need a life raft, please reach out to somebody. Okay. So let's take some questions. Duma had a question, and I don't know if you're still on or not, but I wanted to say thank you so much for your patience. Please have a reading for me. My love life is a mess in your career. I am so terribly sorry that you are struggling so much, my new friend. And I want to say to you, patience. I want to say what I said before, which is just give yourself the next 2 weeks to get out of Mercury retrograde. And then I want to say to you, my friend Duma, I want to say to you to reach into the things that you love, the things that you love to do. Because I feel like in the sorrow and the frustration and in the places where you have had conflict in your world and in your personal life, I feel like you have gone through and put those blinders on. I feel like you have closed the doors off to allowing yourself to do things that create love and that create joy in your space. And so I really want to encourage you, even in all of this drama, and I send you my prayers and my heart and my love for all of the pain that you are dealing with right now. But I want to say to you, take some time where you can maybe cry it out, yell it out. I'm a huge fan of journaling. You all know I'm a huge fan of journaling. And let that stuff physically release from your body. For some of us, we can write it. For some people, I got a friend who has a sledgehammer and a cinder block, and he just beats the shit out of it because that gets that anger and frustration out of the body. If you need to cry or yell or punch a pillow, but once you can purge all of that from our physical body, because the energy literally gets stuck in our body, in our energy body, we can't get that stuff out. We've got to physically expel it from the body. Because once we can free up the energy, then we can, in that moment of, we can bring in the light. We can remember, we can think more clearly from a place of love rather than thinking from a place of anger. When we think from a place of anger, we cannot be creative. We can't listen to our hearts. We can't listen to our guides to tell us and help us guide to what is our true path and our true calling. And the thing that we love to do, we forget that when we're so filled with anger, rage, frustration, and sadness. And so it's so important that we allow ourselves to expel those things and get all that out so that we can hear that guidance. And so, my friend Duma, I want to tell you to do what you need to do to expel. And it's not to say that you're done grieving or done being angry, but we're just trying to create a window because there is good stuff to come for you, but not while you're in the place of anger and frustration, because it'll come and you won't even see it. And we don't want you to miss it. I don't want you to miss it. So I want you to give yourself these 2 weeks that we still have the end part of the Mercury retrograde. And I want you to know that there will be a shift. And in 2021, it's going to feel so much different for you, my friend. Be patient, but self-care and expelling the anger and frustration is truly what I want to say to you. And I want to encourage you to also to open your mind once you can to branch out, because I know you said that the job thing was being a struggle. I want to encourage you to look for jobs that will use your skill set in a different way, because I feel like you're being called to reinvent yourself. I feel like you're being called to work in a totally different field that will still utilize your skills. You are smart, you are strong, you have so much to offer that I want to encourage you to look for job opportunities that will use your skills, but in a different industry. Okay. All right. Hopefully that is helpful. Hopefully you are able to take some of that. Hopefully that is blessing to others. We have a few more minutes. If someone else has a question, I'm so happy to answer that and to share however I can. Again, reminding you that if you have not yet voted, please make sure you do so tomorrow. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else? I know it takes a minute to type your question, so just put all that life towards a peaceful transition tomorrow. Absolutely. Absolutely. We want to hold on to the light, because I have said this time and time again. We have seen this fracturing of our society. We have seen it over the last probably decade, where you're welcome, Tracy. Mwah, my darling. So we've seen this over the last probably decade, that if not more, where we've seen the people that are starting to wake up to the light, and the people who are feeling like the Schumann resonance. I mean, if you're not familiar with the Schumann resonance, it measures the energy vibration of the planet. It literally measures the energy vibration of our planet, and you can Google it, and you can literally see it. The vibration of our planet was here for a long time, and like literally since the last couple of years, it's been pegged up to the top. It is like pegged, and so the energy vibration of our planet is just so much different. And part of that is because so many people are waking up, and they're feeling the rise of the vibration, and they're feeling that energy shift, and they are, because so many people have said to me, in the time of the pandemic, they have come to a place realizing there's something more, realizing they need to do self-love, self-care, some meditation. They need to trust into the power of the universe. So many people are feeling into that so much more in this time of pandemic than ever, because we've been forced to slow down. And so people are like, oh, mindfulness. Yes, mindfulness. And so all of that is raising the vibration of humanity. It's raising the number of people that are coming into the light. There's been no other time in our history when someone like Marianne Williamson could have gotten on a Democratic debate stage unless so many more people were waking up and understanding that she knows what she's talking about. Now, is she ready to be the president? I don't think so. However, the woman is wise and smart, and she's tied in to what is going on, and she understands it. And so many more people are understanding, to people like Brene Brown and Oprah and all of these things, these people who lead with love, who release shame and control and power, and who are leading from a place of love. And so we have so much of this ability. And as we are raising that vibration, all the people who are over here who are leading with anger and frustration and power and control and greed are going, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? And they're freaking out, and they're grabbing on to the status quo. And this is where you've got the, Proud Boys and the white nationalists who are like, hey, we don't want change. We want the same. We want to go, make America great again. We want to go back to how it was when the white people were in power. And that's not the power of love. That's the power of hate and oppression and shame and ridicule and bullying. And that's a power grab. That's the people who are hungry for power, and they want to keep power, and they want more power for themselves. And so the more the rising vibration of love moves up, and more people who are waking up, the more these guys are resonating with fear that what they believe in is going away, and it must go away. And it'll never truly go away. Like I said, there's always going to be that one schmo in the audience going, heckling. But these folks are hanging on to what they, believe, where they felt safe with all their might. But meanwhile, more and more people are walking away from that, going, wait a minute, this is stupid. And they're walking away, and the vibration of the light is rising. And this is what gives me hope personally for tomorrow. But this is why we're seeing this great fracturing of the light and the dark. But in the end, it will always be the power of light. It will always be the power of light. God separated the light from the darkness. There will always be the power of light. And there will always be the power of love. And love and gratitude are the most powerful energies of the universe. So when we stay in that place of love and gratitude, and wasn't that the very, very first card that we picked, was stay in the spirit of gratitude? Because love and gratitude are truly the most powerful energies of the universe. So this is the place to stay. This is the place to be, especially with whatever's going to happen in the next 48 hours. Breathe, keep the faith, stay in gratitude, and please know that whatever happens, we will be okay. We will be okay. Okay, the pendulum swings whichever way, and it will swing again another day. Whatever happens tomorrow, it's been swinging over this way. Now it's going to swing, and so whatever happens, it's going to be okay. The most important thing for you, for us, is to be safe, wear your mask, stay away from the crowds, and stay in the place of love and gratitude, because when you do that, you literally expand your bubble and you protect yourself, your loved ones with love and light and gratitude. And the darkness, they just can't see you. The haters, they just can't see you. And that's the place to live, because when we live in the power of love, we live in the power of gratitude. It's amazing what miracles can happen. It's amazing. Trust the universe. Thank you for spending some time with me today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so honored always by you choosing to spend some time with me, choosing to spend some time with each other. We are literally on the Facebook page. We are 5 people away from giving away another reading. So if you have somebody you haven't shared us with yet, please do so. Share our page, invite people to like. And when we hit some 50 and sustain it, we will do another drawing. So we had our drawing on Instagram. We'll do another one when we hit a benchmark over there as well. But thank you for sharing me. If you like this video, share it with your friends, either on Instagram or Facebook. Thank you so much for joining, and please be with us Wednesday night. Please be with us on Wednesday night, when we will have meditation, 7 o'clock Eastern, and we will be processing whatever is going on. Whatever is going on, we will be together and we will breathe through it, and we'll be processing all of that. And so peace, love, gratitude, vote, wear a mask. Mwah. Love you all. Thank you for being with me. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great week. It's going to be a good day.